What's up? Welcome back. Today we're working on my Git GUI called Spit for Spherophoria's Git. And the idea behind this Git GUI is I've tried a bunch of them. I didn't really like any of the Git GUIs I tried. I'm sure that probably one exists that fulfills my needs, but I didn't like the ones I tried, and I wanted to do something myself because it's fun, right? And so what we have here is basically what is like a glorified Git log. So I want to be able to like visually see a graph of stuff. So here I'm looking at like the libgit2 repo. I see like here are, you know, all the branches. Hold on, it is eating CPU in a way that it wasn't earlier when I tried this. So probably some bug that's causing it to consume 500% CPU, which it didn't last time I tried this. Let's just take a look again. Clicking on these branches seems fine. Okay, there we go. So, you know, here we have branches. You know, you've got like a little log, and you have like a commit view. And the idea behind the GUI in general is that like it should be used in collaboration with the command line, because I use Git features that I haven't seen implemented in any of the command line or any of the Git programs I've used, or that are like better to use on the command line for whatever reason, even though the Git command line interface is horrendous. I shouldn't say that, but it's not, you know, it's not very user friendly. Let's say that. And so it sits here and it's got like an integrated command line, and it'll like watch the repo for changes and update on the fly, etc. And so what I want to work on today is I want to get closer to something that I can like use for everyday Git interaction. And so there's some stuff that I often do, you know, work with the index, add and remove files, etc., etc. And those things are not fully implemented right now. So we've been working on adding support for looking at like the working directory, comparing what is in like the staging area with what's on the file system. And today's topic is trying to get auto updating of that like diff to work correctly. So last stream we implemented, let's see if I can get status. Cargo run here. Last stream we added support for showing modifications. So if I look at like git diff here, we see that there's like one file changed, and git status, we have that one file changed, one untracked thing, and we can now like visualize that in the UI. We see like, oh, look, here is that same diff, and here is that untracked file. But we haven't got it to the point where when I make a change, say I go into here and I, you know, add some garbage in here. If I diff that, you know, it's here, but it hasn't updated in the UI, and I want the UI to like notice these changes. So today's topic is auto updating this diff view, basically. And so I think the approximate plan of action is we need to watch the working directory for changes, right? When there is a change, we have to decide if that file is like worth looking at. We have to notify the GUI that like there has been a change, and the GUI needs to say, well, if I'm looking at the current diff, then I want to get the updated version. And so then the GUI needs to request from the repo to get like the most updated, latest and greatest diff. And then I think that all of that will be good enough. And I guess at the end of all that, we actually have to add a official working dir view, because right now we're kind of using, we implemented looking at the index, like the staging area, and we just kind of like hacked in using that to look at the working dir changes instead of the index changes. So we need to be able to see both. And I think it's time to jump in. What's that OS? This is, I don't know, I guess it depends on what you're asking. What's that OS? We're running Linux. This is Nix OS, although I don't think that really matters. Like, you can't really see any Nix OS by just looking, other than the fact that it says it in my command line. You might be asking, what is like the desktop environment, right? So I'm using KDE, which is available in many Linux distros, but it looks kind of like Windows, you know. Yeah, it depends on what you're asking, I guess. LMAO, I'm running my own OS in Rust and stumbled upon your YouTube. Oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. So my OS, I think, was not very good. And so it'd be interesting to see if you have, like, if you gleaned anything from it or not. All right, let's get moving on Git GUI time. Okay, so the way the app is set up is there's like this like app, kind of like a backend. You can call it a backend, even though it's like all working in the same app. It kind of is treated like a backend. So there are. Why does it just say "Hello World" in a comment here? What the fuck is going on? I must have written that on stream for something at some point. So like the GUI can like make requests to the app, and then the app will fire events when stuff happens, and the GUI will like respond to those events. And so the app is sitting here, and he's already actually got a notifier who's kind of like a implementation of iNotify, which is like iNotify. On Linux, you basically can say like, hey, Linux kernel, I would like you to tell me when some files change in this area of the file system. And then on other operating systems, there's other implementations of this. So this like notifier guy is like a platform's abstraction around this concept, right? And so we already use him to say, hey, could you tell us when like the Git repo state changes? Like if I look at, you know, in here, like he watches this directory and just says like, if anything changes in here, then probably we need to update something. Like either like the current, like the latest commit changed, like a branch was added, the index changed, blah, blah, blah. And so he fires, in that case, he watches that dir. And so we probably just also have to ask him to watch the working directory as well. And what does he do? What does he do? He spawns a watcher who has like this like request tx request rx. I see. So what is this? What is this? Ah, okay. So he has some sort of channel that he uses to talk to the app, and probably he sends like a very specific thing. Yeah, I see. So he watches the Git directory, and he says like, hey, when I see any changes to the Git directory, hey, app, you just like fucking refresh now. Refresh the whole, like your repo state. So he'll say like, hey, I have like a new repository state, and like GUI, here is the new repository state. And I guess what we have to do here is, let's think about this. We could either reuse this existing watcher and say like, hey, could you also watch the working directory? But it seems like the way this is set up is that this watcher, he creates a new channel that sends some stuff over to this thread. I see. Okay, hold on. This is complicated. Fuck, man. I want my fucking color paint. I accidentally like removed a tool, like the bottom bar the other day, and I just can't, I don't know how to get it back. And I forgot to look into this. It must be like in here somewhere. Like color. Is it like this guy? Apply. Yeah. Okay, how do I get him? How do I get this guy down in the right area? Definitely not that. Go in. Oh, fuck it, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I want this. Fine, fuck it. Okay. What was I doing? I was drawing like a thread view, I guess. Okay, so we have like GUI over here, and then we have like app. Yup. And then we have, these are, I guess, threads, I guess. Maybe they're classes. I haven't really decided yet. And then we have this like notifier, and then we'll call this like notifier thread. So this guy is like watching files. He submits like updates to this guy. This guy looks like he like process, and like debounces these like events that come from the notifier thread. And when he decides that like the git directory has changed, then he says like fire refresh. He'll like send the refresh over here. The app will like check repo state, check repo, and then he'll like tell the GUI that the repo's changed. So if we're now trying to add like a second watcher that says like, I would like to look at specific, like look at the working directory and notice when things are changed and maybe update the diff in the GUI view, then like it might be that we should spin up like a second notifier thread over here that does like something else, or we kind of like hook it into like this existing one. I think this notifier can he can watch multiple directories. And so like then the question is, should we spawn like a second one of him that watches like the working dir and only sends stuff over this guy, or should we use one that like dispatches, that like fires events for both folders, and like these guys should like check which folder they're looking for? Probably having two is fine. I don't think that like each of these functions it's running, checking where if like an event applies to them makes less sense to me than only getting events that you care about. I guess you could technically have like an event dispatcher that sits in the middle here. Dispatch. Is that what I want? Maybe. That kind of makes sense. So you like have like things that you're watching. You look at this guy and you say, hey, is this for the working directory or for like the repo? Which kind of makes sense because the working directory often contains the repo itself, right? Like, or not like, I don't know if the repo is the wrong word. Maybe it's the right word, right? Like you have like this .git folder and he's inside your working directory and he holds like all of the state of your repo. But this doesn't have to be that way. Like you can have like external working directories kind of. So yeah, maybe like a dispatcher kind of makes sense. I'm okay with that. So let's say notifier should watch working dir. Dispatch need to dispatch events appropriately. And I guess maybe saying that this dispatcher like dispatches between like this responsibility and this one, maybe we just like fold all that into like one guy, because that's essentially what this thread is, right? He's already kind of a dispatcher. He's just dispatching one thing after debouncing. So I guess here he could just check what the event is. So what does he need to know? He needs to know like where are events coming from and what are they for? Right? So he's going to say something like he's going to need to know working dir, git dir. I guess that's kind of it. And I guess, does it make sense for him to still be a free function, or does it like does it feel better if he's some sort of like struct? Probably doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter. I guess like the struct will make it so that this like you could with like a struct you could have like struct watcher thread, and he could have like git dir is a path buff, and like a working dir is also a path buff, and then I guess like a notifier rx, which is whatever this guy is, receiver of result of event and error. Receiver result event, and I guess this is going to be notifier error probably. And then on him you could have like an implementation of watcher thread, and here you could have like handle git yeah, handle git dir event. Yeah, here we go. This is starting to come together. which is basically like what we did before. And then we can have like a new thing that's like handle working dir event. New stuff. But I guess like it depends on if the new stuff is like, doesn't matter. You know, like what is it going to be complex? Maybe not, right? It's kind of just going to probably send a different signal here. Here he's saying like app request refresh, but probably what we're going to end up with is like another thing that's like update working dir refresh. And maybe instead of refreshing like all the working dir because that's like expensive, maybe and like this is going to happen more often than Git directory updates. Maybe we say, hey, could you refresh the work dir, but also here is some path, maybe multiple paths that we want to check for modifications, right? We want to say like, hey, are these paths, how do I say this? We want to check if they're like relevant, right? We want to say, hey, are these like ignored paths? Yes, no, maybe. And we also want to see if they're modified or not, maybe. Not really sure yet. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sure. Yeah, so we'll just say paths. I guess you could also argue that like the parsing of paths could be done in like, instead of it being done in this like notifier thread that's responding to updates, he could be done like on like the application side. Who do I want to own that? Does that make more or less sense? So here you would say that like on refresh, here he would say, hey, where does the path come from? Not sure. I think I like it better in the notifier thread. So he's going to say work dir refresh, and here are my paths. So he's going to be like vector of path buff. This is kind of an odd API for like what is up until this point a like API to the app from the GUI, right? This like work dir refresh is like the GUI would never ask for this, which is kind of weird, but probably fine. Like, it doesn't really matter, I think. Like, should it be coming from somewhere else? No, that's fine. That's fine. Sure. Okay. So this guy's gonna say work dir refresh, please. And so where this guy's handled, we're gonna have to like app request work dir refresh. And for now, he's just gonna do nothing. I guess we'll write unimplemented here. This is going to be annoying when it ends up crashing us later because working dir changes will just crash the application, but I guess that's fine for now. And I guess also somebody has to like actually request that the working dir gets notifications. So this guy, he has like a repo, and when a repo is opened, he's gonna have check. Okay. So somewhere he modifies this guy here on open repo. Is this the only place? Everything else looks like it is accessing, not modifying. Yeah, so it looks like there's only one place where we open it. Okay. Where'd it go? I lost it. Does it not show the one place if this is where I selected from? That's interesting. Okay. And then that means when I open it from the command line, I guess probably like main or GUI may immediately open it or something. Because I know that I can like specify a location like command line, so I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So if some repo is this thing. Ah, yeah, so they just immediately buffer an open repo request. Okay, okay. Cool, makes sense. Okay, so this is really the only place. And so here, I just have to say, when we open it, we just have to update the notifier to also watch this second place. So he's watching the get dir, and now we have to say, also, we are watching somewhere else. Repo root, I guess. Which probably is just always what we passed in, but I want to, let's check. Repo root equals, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, this is fine so far. Now we need to propagate the information of like, now the like the notifier processing thread needs to like know if we are getting updates from which of these two paths. And he doesn't really like have access to that information right now. Which kind of makes me think maybe it makes more sense for it to be done on the app side of things, right? In this like I think if we right click, there should be an option to move the color picker to pin. Why don't I see it? Fuck. Oh, whatever. So what was I saying? Maybe it does make sense for this like dispatching to be done kind of over here instead of over here, because like the information of like whether or not the path is for the Git directory or the repo root is on this side. And that would be easier. So now that would mean that instead of like work to refresh and refresh, we can just say refresh now has some parameters associated with them. Maybe who uses this refresh? I think only this. That's a test. That's a test. Yes, the only person who ever executes a refresh is like this notifier thread. So him just having a parameters that is like paths, I think makes sense. Sure. And so now this guy is going to have like some paths. And he is going to say match paths, match path, each path. He's going to look at each path. And he's going to say if path is a descendant of like the Git directory, so self repo. Let's see. If self repo let some repos equal self.repo, maybe mutable, and then we have to do like an else like break out of this. Is that just like a return here? Yes, we're in a handle single request, so just returning is sane. And then for each path, we check if it's in the repo, or sorry, if it's a descendant of the Git dir or the work dir. So we say repo Git dir. Let Git dir is equal to this. Let working dir is equal to this. And we say that the if we are updating Git dir or working dir, these are two options. And if path, is there like a descendant thing in the path buff? Path rust path, oh, you got it close enough. All right. Is there like is descendant? Ancestors? That's close. Close. Is relative? No. Is absolute? Is JIR's file symlink? Nope. I guess we just walk up the ancestors and compare each one. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say like we'll say if path is descendant, and we'll pass in the path and the get dir. This will say get dir update is equal true, and we'll do else if it is descendant of the working dir. Then we'll say working dir update. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll say if get dir update, we do what we did before. If working dir update. If working dir update unimplemented. We don't know what we're doing yet. Okay. Sure, so we have to implement this like is descendant. So where are my like free functions in this file? Looks like at the bottom. Bottom. Here we go, yeah. So we can just say function is descendant, and we'll take in 2 paths. What do we want to call this thing? So we have like the path that we're checking and like the potential ancestor. Returns a bool. And he'll just say path ancestors while I guess we loop over them for ancestor in ancestors if ancestor dot resolve canonicalize is equal to potential ancestor dot canonicalize. I guess we'll say that the let canonicalized ancestor is equal to this. Here we go. Yep. I guess it's canonicalized potential ancestor. There we go. And then we're going to check if this guy is... I guess we can canonicalize... do we canonicalize the path as well? Let's think about this. So if there are symlinks involved... I guess a symlink could be outside the repo. I'm just not going to canonicalize. Fuck it! Blaze it, you know? This could fail in the case where there's like some sort of like weird symlinky shit going on, but I think that shouldn't be a problem here. I don't think that should matter here. So we'll just say, if the ancestor is the potential ancestor, return true. True. And otherwise, we return false. Bing, bang, boom. Easy. Easy. Here we'll put little ampersands on this guy because the indexer's angry. And arguably, this stuff is getting a little hairy, so fix me, should this be split out somewhere? Okay. So on the notifier thread side, I did notice that this guy has like a debounce event thing, and I don't know what he's doing. So he's saying... okay, so he's just waiting for stuff, and he's basically not firing an event until there's been enough time between stuff. Okay, so this guy's new responsibility is probably going to be sending out which paths were modified. So he's probably going to be like a vector of path buffs. And so now we're actually going to look at the event. We're going to say let mute ret is equal to vec new. And we'll return ret here. And at the end, we'll say this is kind of strange. This shouldn't happen, but maybe it should. I don't know. Event notifier died. This feels like an error. I'm not really sure, but we'll see. Okay. So I guess we have to look at this event, which is this guy. So we'll say event. I guess we should know why this died. So maybe this is like a loop. Loop let event is equal to this. Context failed to something. Get event from notifier. And I guess this now can fail. Seems reasonable so far. And we say let event is equal to event context failed to read event, sure. Now we have an event that we can read. This guy returns okay ret instead of ret. And this doesn't have anymore. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And so what does this guy have on him? He's an event. And he says should have some paths. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So let's just say ret.extend event paths. Boom. And we're chilling. I guess we should make sure that the paths are unique. Or does it matter? Like if they fire twice, if we get a vector with two of the same path, that's like a little bit annoying in that like there's extra memory used, but it's actually not that bad because all we're doing with those paths is like checking which things we need to update. Maybe so far. Fuck it. This is going to be a hash set. We're going to insert into the hash set, and then we're going to say ret.into iter collect at the end here. Yep. Cargo check. Lots of stuff is not happy. Holy. Oh, because at the top of this file, I just wrote a bunch of garbage earlier. Okay. We are close. So 646. He is not sending the files. So he's going to say let paths. Hold on. What's going on here? So this guy already also receives events and does this path is lockfire thing. Then this guy says what? Oh, he does receives with timeout, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this path handling should probably move into this. Okay, so this is like a weird chain of events. This is like wait for event, handle event, kinda. Check if it's relevant. Debounce. And the debouncing waits for more, which I don't really like. I don't really like that. It's almost like we want to say that like this debounce event thing is like where all the work is done. Yep. And I guess we'll just handle this stuff here. So first he's going to say, hey, I'm going to look for an event at all. And I'm going to do all this stuff that I did down here with that event. So I guess like it's kind of starting to feel like there's some like state involved here. Debounced watcher or something. I don't know, man. And he's going to have like the output. So there's going to be like observed paths. And he's going to be like a hash set. of path buff. Yep. And then he's gonna have like function handle event, and he's going to take in self by mule reference, and he's gonna have like event that is in a results event notify error, I guess. And he's just gonna do this stuff here. Yoinkies. Self.observe paths. Bump bump. Self.observe paths. And he is going to not do this, I guess. This stuff still goes down here. So we're gonna have like let watcher is equal to debounced watcher with observed paths as a empty hash set, I guess. Yep. So then for each event, he's gonna say, hey, could you handle this thing? Watcher handle event. And he's going to do this once at the beginning. But without like this like timeout thing. He's just gonna say, wait until the end of time for a thing. Failed to get event from notifier. Yup. And then he's gonna say watcher handle event like this. Boom, boom. This happens here. This happens here. Then he does the debouncing. Wonderful. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, this guy needs to return a result, which means he needs to return okay at the end. Yep. Everybody's chillin', which means that this guy needs to be, what, mutable up here. And when we handle events, we're going to say context failed to handle event on here. And we do the same thing down here. There's no ret here anymore. And there we go. Okay. So that kind of handles this double loop thing. And then for each event, he's going to do this checking if it's a lock file. He doesn't care about lock files. I guess it's not really true anymore either. So this is because there are like lock files in like the git dir that we wanted to ignore. But now what if we have a lock file in the working directory that is supposed to be parsed, like cargo.lock? This is no longer a thing that we should be doing here. But we should be doing this on the other side, I guess, when we get the refresh. We want to say if it's sent over the git dir and it's not a lock file. Yes. Chilling. So now this goes away. This goes away. This comes out from here, and here we need to say, hey, here are the paths. Okay. Yup. And here, I guess we say, please succeed. Otherwise, we continue. Fix me. Should we blindly continue here? That's what we did before, but I don't think that's a good thing to be doing. Okay, sure. That feels okay so far. So this guy, blah, blah. He does this stuff, does the debouncing, handles events. Yeah, okay. Does this compile? Yes. This watcher thread stuff that we started adding before is now not what we're doing. All right. So now I guess we want to make sure that we didn't break anything from before. So we run the GUI on the current working directory, and we see, is he fucking broken? Looks like this is working so far. We see our repo, and if I come in here and I say, hey, git add -u git commit -m temp, I just want to see that that temp does get propagated here, and it does not, which is concerning. So it looks like we probably broke something. So I guess we should start logging. Print line debounce event. Okay. So this is probably failing to handle. Right. So this received timeout, he returns a result with a timeout error. So this shouldn't be like this. We need to look at what we got and say, well, if we timed out because we timed out, okay, so match this guy. And if we see receive timeout error, timeout, we return no. Yes? Yeah, I guess we just return. Into iter collect like this, okay. And I guess we do this on any error. Yeah, we don't really care about the error type. So we say, okay, event is this, blomp, 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 blomp. Else we do our return. Otherwise, we handle the event. And I don't think we have to worry about like spurious interrupts here. But even if we do, who fucking cares? We'll just like debounce poorly. We do have to handle this like loop now is going to be firing on multiple events. And so before we were just looping until the maximum time, but I guess now we need to adjust the period. So we're gonna say let every time we wake up we reduce the period. Yeah, we reduce the period, right? Okay, so we say here debounce period is equal to instant now debounce max minus. No, what are we doing here? We're saying we're gonna wait for 500 milliseconds. If what's like the desired behavior? What was it doing before? What was it doing before? Git show this source app mod. Okay, so before he was saying, hey, I'm gonna wait for 500 milliseconds. Why not just wait for the full map period? This is stupid. Whatever we were doing before is stupid. We're basically saying, hey, we're gonna handle this 2 seconds after. That's all it was doing. We're saying like we're gonna return for after 2 seconds. So this is stupid. This is just like we should say let debounce end is equal to duration from sex2. This debounce end. And here we just compute the period. So this is now the wait time is equal to debounce end minus here now. Yep. And I think that 2 seconds is like insanely long. This should be like 1 or like 500 milliseconds makes way more sense to me. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. Okay. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. Okay. So now what we should do is we do our test again where we say git add -u, git commit -m temp2, and we should see temp2 show up here, which we do. Sick. Sick, sick, sick. That was perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so nothing's broken. Nothing is broken. And now we need to... Okay, so watch working dir for change. Looks like that's done. Well, I guess we haven't proven that it's done. We think it's done. But I guess we should see that when the git GUI is open, we should crash when we modify the working directory. I think that's what we're doing right now. Because we have the refresh handling, and he says, if working update unimplemented. Okay, so if I cargo run, and I just change a file in here, we should go, oh no, I don't know what to do. And so here I say, write a file, and nothing happened, which is bad. Not good at all. Not good at all. So let's look at paths. This is refreshing these paths. Oops. I want to cargo one here. Okay. So here, let's write a file. We do see some refreshes there. Holy shit. What is happening here? Refreshing. Blah, blah, blah. Ah! So is this is descendant shit just not triggering? Refreshing. Blah, blah. Yeah, maybe. But then how come the, why was, like, the git dir working? That's weird. So here we should say, we are refreshing spit git objects. That's working. Okay. So print line here is working dir descendant. I guess we'll say path is a working dir descendant. Here we'll say path is git dir descendant. Because I'm not really convinced that either of these should trigger at all. Because I'm seeing like an extra dot in here. And I guess here we'll just say we'll do else. We'll say path is not a descendant of anything, is irrelevant. Okay. Let's try that. Let's try that. Okay, so let's just like write a file. Okay, so here he's saying is irrelevant for the vast majority of them. This is really hard to parse. Let's do some bullshit. So because I've been working on terminal emulators, I now know that it's really simple to color stuff. And so I know now. I was worried when I was running the terminal emulator. I'm like, fuck. I'm gonna think that this is normal now to do this, and we're seeing this come to light. So we know that we can make things red by typing this. And we know that this will reset it. And we can say that we'll use like blue for we'll use blue for working dir descendant. where blue is 34. And we will use green for Git. Green is 32. And I guess this is kind of like the type of takeaway that I want when I'm like, I want to try stuff so that I have like a better understanding of how the world works. But it also means that now I'm applying it in this like absolutely fucking stupid way. Okay, so everything's fucking red. Like everything in there. Okay, so now if I say, let's go and git add-u, git commit-m. Oh, okay. So the lock files are not, but it does look like this like weird fucking home streamer work spit // like it does look like that's working, like that's resolving correctly, which is surprising to be honest. So maybe it's like something about like the git dir and the working dir are not what we expect. Git dir is git dir, and working dir is this. Oopsies, let's not do that. Let's do this. Also, oh, I guess all of these updates are triggering because Rust Analyzer is noticing when my files change and like regenerating code. That's crazy. That's probably what all those are. Okay. So let's trigger an update. And here we have working dir is dot, but the git dir is here. Ah, okay. So there is some sort of like, oh, we need some sort of like absolute path stuff going on. What a weird, so I don't understand why we're getting this like weird directory format coming out of the notifier. Surprising. Okay, maybe we... Does it make sense to canonicalize all the paths? I'm not really sure it does. I'm also not sure it doesn't. Because, like, say I get my working directory, say I have a symlink in my git dir, and I canonicalize both paths. Then the symlink won't trigger. The stuff inside the symlink won't trigger. But maybe that's, like, correct. Maybe. Maybe. Blaze it. Let's do it. Let's just canonicalize everything. I'm, like, not 100% on that, but it feels better than whatever the fuck this is, right? Like, this is obviously not what I want. Well, I shouldn't say so obviously. Maybe it is. So when I do git directory updates, do they also look fucked up and stupid? Yes. Oh, wait, hold on a second. How the fuck is this triggering? Because, hold on. I don't understand something. So, here we're saying that the git dir is home streamer work spit git. And then we're saying that, yes, in fact, home streamer work spit dot git index is a git dir descendant. But it's not. It's not a descendant of this based off of our algorithm, right? He's got an extra dot in there. So I must not understand this. Wait, what the fuck? Ancestor is ancestor, and potential is potential ancestor. Cargo run. Something about this doesn't look right. Unless this like equals on path buffs is like doing some crazy shit. home streamer blah blah blah. Ancestor blah blah blah. So what is he saying? Oh, here. Here, this is matching. But this isn't? Oh, this... Oh, because potential is dot. Oh. I see. I see. So the equals equals operator on a path buff is being intelligent, right? The fact that this is matching indicates that it's like destroying that extra dot in the middle. But the paths coming out of the notifier are absolute. And so we need to be in an absolute path for our working directory thing. So I wonder here, when we extract the repo root, I guess we just need to make sure that if it's a relative path, we just slap it onto our directory. That makes sense. So we say refresh over here. So our working dir, we say if working dir is relative, we append it to our directory. So I guess std env current dir unwrap join working dir. And I guess here we'll say context failed to get current working dir for relative repo root. Yup. All right. And we'll say working dir is equal to this. And I guess we have to match into path buff. To path buff. Okay. Now this should work. Everyone's happy. This guy needs to be a little ampersanded. And this guy needs to be mutable. All right, let's try this again. I think we should be chilling now. We should crash now when I save this file. Hell yeah. So we have blue shit now and we crash. Okay, and let's like not crash and let's just make sure that we get a bunch of blue shit. Okay. And so here I go. Please write a file and we get boom, blue, 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 blue. Perfect. Let's remove this print line, which is fucking annoying. Let's look for other print lines that might be annoying as well. These are all fine still. We're gonna run. All right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. And then we should also check here if, oh, I guess we can say this is done. This is now done. We have proof of this. And now we're at, holy shit, 59 minutes. We are slow. Slow. I guess we should do git add -u, git commit -m, checkpoint. Okay. What's next? Next up is here we need to check if it's ignored and different from the index. So we just say repo is ignored path. Yeah. Okay. And now we need to add that API here. And we already like have that to some extent. We just have to like do something. We have to expose it. So here we already have modified files with index. We say, hey, could you... Oh, modified files with directory. Here's the one. And we say, hey, can we get the modified files in this directory? And here we say, hey, is this path ignored? And we have to check if it's repo relative. Okay, sure. So here we'll just split out a function to say is path ignored, and we're going to take in some sort of like the repo root and the path, as well as the get to repo abstraction. And we're just going to do this. We're going to get the path relative to the repo root. And then check if it's ignored. Yep. Failed to check ignore for file, blah, 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 yep. And I guess this is a result, because it can fail. And we slap this in an okay. Cannot find roots. This is supposed to be a path as well. There we go. And then here, I guess we won't. Yeah, fuck it. We will do this as a member function. Because, like, I don't want to... this guy has to extract the repo relative root for other reasons, so I think that this guy's basically just doing that stripping again, and that makes sense. So I'm gonna add this as a member function directly to the repo. So I guess we will just say function. We'll put it somewhere. Tags, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Modified files. We'll just stop it at the bottom. So this is pub create function is ignored. He's going to, instead of do this, he's going to take in self, and these guys are now self dot and self dot. Yep. This, he's not repo root like this. Okay. Yep, makes sense so far. I wonder, maybe is path ignored is wrong here. We could say is work dir path. No, we'll just see is path ignored. It's fine. It's fine. So he's going to say is ignored. This is called is path ignored. I guess saying is ignored kind of implies the path by the argument. Okay. And he needs to fail to check ignore, check if path is ignored. And you could argue that like returning early here is like a bad answer, right? We should still handle the other stuff, but fuck that. I don't care. If it breaks, it breaks. And he doesn't like this because this guy has to be a little ampersandy. And then inside, this guy has to be ampersandy. And he's saying that I don't have to do this, I guess. Yep, everybody's happy, everyone's chilling. And so now, when I run this, when I run it here, we should see a bunch of red in like the build directory because it's not relevant to the Git repo, the target folder. So if I go in here and I modify file, fuck. Failed to strip root from entry path. That is it. Repo.rs 479. And I guess here, this is now not like an expectation. It is a return early. So we're going to say let okay repo relative path, blah, 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 is equal to this, else return false. Okay, false even. Because if it's not a relative, if it's not a parent, then it's not relevant. It's ignored. And this can just be like this. All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again, baby. Round 2. Void. Okay, so Not good. These are still all blue, and this is not what I want, right? Because all of these target blah 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 are not valid. So I wonder if this like strip prefix is not working correctly because the paths are fucking absolute and our repo root is relative, which means it probably makes sense for repo root to be converted into an absolute path here before coming in. So here we can say let repo root is equal to, we'll do the conversion here. So here we did this like if it's relative, fuck you. So we'll just do womp, womp, womp. If repo root is relative, we slap on slight working dir. Repo root is going to be the current working directory joined with the old repo root. Yep. Like this. Which means that we don't have to do this over here. And then this should start working here the way I expect, I think. I think it should. Okay, so let's modify file. And perfect. Okay, so most of this stuff is irrelevant, right? Red, 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 red. It's hard to see when it's highlighted, but it's all red, except for this stuff. What the fuck is this 4913? I guess that's like a temporary file made by Vim. But, I mean, I think this is right. So we see repo... This like Rust file is getting blue, indicating that it's relevant, it's interesting to us. This is technically interesting to us, even though it disappears like immediately. This like source git 4913, and everything else in like the target folder is red. And if we git add -u, we see the git stuff turn green. Looking good, looking good. Happy with that. So we can just go back to mod. And I guess we can leave these logs in for now. That's fine. So we've handled if it's ignored. Now the question is what do we want to do with that? I think maybe we can say repo state, this like workdir state, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think we need to track like which files were modified. I think all we have to do here is keep track of the last time that the working directory was modified. And we do that because like this repo state is used to reject commands if so in the GUI, I might like do an action based off of what I see, right? I might like click a branch and say like check out this branch, or like delete this branch because I checked out that one. And we say, hey, you made this decision to do this action based off of what we were presenting to you in the GUI. But if we now see that that is not the current state anymore, then like we must have taken too long to service this thing, and now what you asked for is invalid. And so if we say that the working directory must have this workdir state, I don't think that's true anymore, because like you could have like some application that's just like, you know, watching files or like periodically doing some stuff, and like the directory changing isn't really an indication that like your git command shouldn't go through. So I think maybe we just don't include the working directory state in here. I think that's a fair thing to say. It's not really part of the repo state. And maybe we'll just fire an event. Like, who's using this guy? Like, workdir state. Ah, okay. So workdir state is still maybe reasonable. Modified files. No, I don't think he's necessary either. I think that this guy is useless. So we don't need to like look at the workdir error. We just want to say, hey, we noticed that the workdir changed. Okay, so we have 571. This guy and this guy. These guys aren't relevant anymore. And so maybe what we do is just when we notice the working directory change, wherever we were doing that in refresh, we can just say, if the working dir changed, fuck it, fire an event. Yeah. Failed to notify of workdir change. Yeah, that seems reasonable. That feels good. And then the GUI. The GUI can just say, hey, when the workdir updates, do something. I wonder if the workdir updating with like a change ID makes sense, so that we could say like, hey, this is updated since the last time you checked. That seems kind of reasonable. Yeah, I think we probably do want to check that. Because that way, if the event fires twice... no, I think if the event fires twice, we should ask for a diff twice. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Okay. So... check if file is ignored and different from index. I think... we are just not doing the second half. We're just checking if the file is ignored. I don't think we need to check if it's different from the index. Update repo state with last modified title. We decide that's not relevant. And now we're going to work on requesting a new diff when it makes sense. Okay. So here, I think that this is related to like the commit view, i.e. like the diff view. And he has like a few states, right? He's like, I'm either looking at the index, I'm looking at the working directory, or I'm looking at a current commit. Well, kind of. We've kind of like hacked this in right now. Right now we're kind of saying he's only looking at the we're treating the index like the working directory, just temporarily. And so here, I guess we should say, hey, you need to know that the working directory changed. Notify workdir updated. And then he can say self workdir has changed is equal to true, and he'll just like keep track of that. And then down here, he says like, hey, I need to request a diff in some cases. And he needs to here, he says if request or the index has changed. And I guess we say, or workdir has changed. And the request is related to the workdir. Yeah. He's upset about a missing comma here, maybe? Or and a missing bracket, maybe? If blah blah blah, what is he complaining about? Found comma expected open brace. Oh, because this isn't supposed to have a comma here. There we go. And then here we say, hey, workdir has changed false. Solid. Okay. Now we just need to notify this guy. So in the GUI, he should say self dot commit view notify workdir updated. I think that might be it. Maybe like that might actually just fucking work, which would be super cool. I guess we go down here. cargo run. And we look at this index view, which is actually the working dir view. And right now we can like open up GUI mod RS. We see this like work dir updated. And if I go in here and say like smiley face. Oh, hell yeah, baby. Oh, that feels so fucking good. Hell yeah. That's so sick. Bye-bye. Hello. Okay. Bye-bye. That's sick. Okay. Cool. And I guess we should also double check that we aren't doing something like stupid. Like we're not like firing too many events and stuff. So it'd be kind of nice to maybe look at the app mod rs and maybe we can here log requests. So maybe say print line incoming rec, and we log the rec. We forgot to put this guy here. And this guy, maybe we just derive debug on him, and hopefully everybody implements debug. No, because view state doesn't implement debug. Oh god, that's gonna become a pain in my ass. So instead of deriving debug, we'll just implement it manually. Impl format debug for app request. Import std format, yep. And then we need to implement missing shit. I guess we match self. And we're gonna do something for each thing in here. And I guess it's along the lines of I probably don't care about the contents of any of this stuff. And in these, it's like replace the arguments with underscores, I guess. Fuck me, it's hard to type. This guy had 1, this guy's 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, and nothing. There we go. And then all of these guys, let's join these lines so that they're all one line. And then I can prefix all of these with app. Fuck. I can prefix them all with app request. Like this. Then each of these guys should have a arrow to do. Okay. This is a macro, probably. Record a macro. Then yoink the word, go to the end, make an arrow, and say write f. Fucking. Oh, that's annoying. Yoink. Oh god. Yoink the word, go to the end, paste it. Hopefully that macro works. Nope, that macro was fucked. Let's try it again. Go. Yoinkin word. Go to the end. Make an arrow. Brace. Paste. Tab it in. Write. F. There we go. I've wrote quotes. Pain in my ass, that's for sure. And that one didn't work for some reason. What's wrong with this one? Oh, probably because of the... No, I don't understand how this is different than any of the other ones, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, and then we have to go back through here and also say, surround this with quotes. There we go. Okay. This guy has to have nothing in him, and... yeah, that's fine. And I guess we want to do the same thing for app events, because we want to log these on the other side as well. And again, it's probably that there's like shit in here that we don't actually want, blah, 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 blah. You know? These, like, changing these to this like double underscore thing. It's like in like elementary school, we always used to draw this like little rabbit in text. I think he had like little hair like this, and then he had like eyes probably, and then this would have been back in like the MSN days. I think he had like hands, and then feet, something like this. Anyways, these double underscores with brackets really reminds me of this like stupid little rabbit we used to draw in elementary school. Not that it matters, but you're here watching my streams, so you have to listen to my tangents. You don't have a choice. Well, you could turn the stream off, but please don't. Actually, you have a choice, and I really would like it if you use that choice to stay here. Okay. App request. And then this is going to do the same thing where we're going to record a macro, yoink it. I fucked up the yoink, so we yoink it again. Right. And we put the formatter and we paste it. Fuck, the yoink is broken again, and we put him in quotes this time and hope to God that nope. Bad macro. We'll try again. Do this, go up by 2, word, yoink in word, right, F, quote, paste, quote, bracket, delete the line, go down, Q. Oh, that looks close. Yeah, alright. It's just worked or updated it's not happy with for some reason. This should be app event. Alright. Real waste of time. And these should all be app request should say app event. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay. So what were we doing? We were trying to log events that come in to make sure that we were doing sane event emitting and yeah, and requests. Okay. Oops. I want this window to be my editor and I want to run over here. Oh, and I guess probably we want to get rid of some of these like other print lines that are going to be spamming. Print line, okay. Okay, let's make sure that it is sane. Ah, fuck, I forgot. Oh, god damn it. This is my editor window. Crack and run. Okay. So I click here, commit fetch, blah, blah, blah. So here, in these scenarios where I'm sitting on other commits, I should see that writing things results in workdir updates and refreshes of the Git directory. Okay. Concern that... Oh, the refresh is triggering workdir updates. Okay, sure. But the workdir updates are not resulting in any like rediffing, which is good. But if I'm watching here, then I say, hey, I update this guy. Then the workdir update is resulting in a get diff and a diff fetched. I don't like that these are double triggering, it feels like. That feels like extra work. Oh no, okay, that was one get diff. Get diff fetched. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's only triggering once. So that is kind of working as expected. Cool. Happy with that. Happy with that. Yeah, I think that's fine. And now we should probably add some way to actually, like right now we're kind of like hacking this to say we're looking at the index and that's actually giving us the working dir. We just have to fix that to actually give us like a little box up here to click on working dir. I think like in the ideal world, probably where this is going to end up is that we're going to have like this index view show stage files, working dir files, and then have buttons to like move things between them. But just because like the way that this is laid out with like the diff caching and stuff, it's hard right now to slap on two diffs in the same view. So I think what we'll do for now is to give like a nice little like bow, wrap a like, nice little bow on this. I think is that a phrase? Wrap a bow on this concept? Is that like put a bow on it? How to make a bow out of wrapping paper. Anyways, just to like kind of tie this one off. Good. That's got to be related to wrapping gifts, right? It's got to be. So you're putting in the end. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna like make a second bubble here for working directory. And then in the future, we can like migrate from that to this like combined view. But that kind of gives like a intermediate thing of value that's easy to implement. So let's just do it that way. So where am I? I'm over here, and I am saying that we did this 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 10 seconds into stream, and we are adding an official working directory view. The official working directory. And what am I doing here? I'm going into like GUI commit log, I think is where this lives. And a few streams ago, we were like index, no, nothing about index, capitals, here we go. So here, we render the commit graph, we render the index view, and I guess we're just gonna do like whatever the like index view is. We'll just slap the working dir in here as well. So here we say if the row range start is equal to 0, i.e. we're looking at the top of the graph, we do this. And if we're adding one node before, so saying like if we're at the top, do that worked fine. But now we're gonna put in two things, and I think it's fine to just fuck it. For now, we'll just use the same condition, and we'll just use the same condition. Fuck it. And if it moves a little too much on the first scroll down, that's fine. It doesn't fucking matter. Okay. So here we're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna render a commit node at what x0 and y equals 1. Sure. With these are like unfilled in bubbles, I guess. And then here they say, hey, here's an allocate me a UI, please. And here is we're flagging if we are looking at the index or workdir. And we'll say if the selected thing is the index, then we're selected. And so we'll say if workdir selected is the same thing. We render a commit message for index selected. And then we actually have to do one before that for workdir selected. And then this is going to be workdir message response and index message response. This guy sets it to index, and this guy sets it to workdir. Boom, easy. Seems a lot like some duplicated code. And it is. Shut the fuck up. I get to choose when I care, and I don't care here. Okay, and then whoever is using this like index thing in the commit view, we just change this to, we add a working dir here for modified files, we'll call it. Modifies files, modified files, okay. And then somewhere else this is still used, selected item index here, selected item workdir. Yeah, boom. Working dir. And that is this. And there we go. That might be it. Might be. It's hard to tell because I can't fucking see anything in this like tiny preview, but I think it is. We'll find out. Oh, also I probably should have made the label in the commit view. This one should be working dir. It also doesn't feel like these should be in caps anymore. I don't really like it when my fucking UI yells at me, so this can be working dir. No, modified files we call it. And we'll call this one index. Probably capital at the beginning. Makes sense, probably. He doesn't like that I'm missing some stuff in GUI mod RS 272. GUI mod RS 272. Here we go. So here he's saying ensure selected commit in cache, and this looks like a selected item workdir thing that doesn't give a shit, right? There's no commit to cache in that case, and cargo check. Is that everything? One more. Commit log 42. As object ID, so this is the same shit where there is no object ID for the working directory. And now he's happy, so we can probably run him. Come on, baby. Okay. So here we have the index, which has some modified things, and then we have our working directory. So these are in fact different, and we can check if they mirror get status at all. So here we have two things in modified, get diff staged, and these two things have like maybe like you know, maybe like two changes per. So if we look at the index, we expand, 2 changes per it looks the same. I'm pretty sure that's right. And then we can say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the modified. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's working. I think, yeah, that feels good. And then when I scroll down here, there's a little bit of like a little bit of a shuffle here at the checkpoint thing, but that's fine. I don't really care about that. That doesn't feel that bad. And this isn't going to stay like this for very long. So like doing the work to make this scrolling feel a little better at the top is just, I think, not worth it because I'm going to fix this later. Sick. Yeah, that feels good. And it's crazy. I already see the benefit. Like I didn't think that I was going to care about this at all, to be honest. But I can already tell that this is going to be useful. So then we can, you know, do a little, where are we? Oh, fuck me. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I resized some stuff, and now it's not rendering correctly. Here we go. Okay, so now we can get kind of crazy, and we can go, hey, what happens when I do, like, in here, I say, get add-u. Now the modified files should update. Fuck me. That didn't update. Why didn't that update? Get status. Why didn't that update? Okay. So here, collapse everything. Get add-u. Get add-u. So yeah, oh, it's the commit view probably is still looking at only the index for that. If workdir has changed, and the diff target is a workdir, okay, and the commit dir, he has a diff target of workdir, and so what's the fucking problem? Fuck me, man. Hold on, are we doing anything stupid in here? Selected item none, otherwise we look at the commit, blah, blah, blah. I feel like this should be updating. Repo state updated, refresh, diff fetched. So if request is last requested diff, we request the diff. And we say we have everything is up to date. Clearly it's not, right? It's clearly not. So what the fuck are you doing wrong? What are you doing wrong, buddy? construct diff request. So he constructs a diff request, and we are in the working dir selection state. So he has from index to workdir. Yes. And so here we should be in the case where we are workdir has changed and the destination is a workdir. So what are you fucking complaining about? Like, why aren't you working? So one of these conditions just must not be getting hit, right? Okay. So what is that case? Notify workdir has changed is true. So workdir has changed. We know that we're getting the... Oh, fuck me. This has to update if the index changes as well. Because here, when we do a git add-u or git remove restore all, no files in the working directory are changing, but the index is. Yes. So this has to be if either side, if the index has changed and either side is index. Which is gonna... Do you think that maybe if I do this fucking... I slap a little or in here and then do this? Do you think this is readable code? Do you think that, like, if I look at this condition, I can say, yes, I understand what the fuck I'm looking at? Certainly not, right? But I do think that is the change we have to make. Let's just make that change, and then we'll refactor in a sec. Okay, so I'm in modified files, and I say... Fuck. Oh god, he's spamming. That's not good. Look at that, that's really bad. Why is that happening? If index... So, probably because this condition is not right, and it's impossible to fucking tell why. Because it was as soon as I added this. It's almost like giant nested nifs? What is a nif? Giant nested ifs are not good. And hard to read and hard to get right. It's almost like that. Yeah, okay. So I guess we'll say let index requires update. Or update needed from index change is equal to this. Self index has changed, and the request is from this. Yes, and then we can here say or update needed from index change, like this. And then we can say or update needed from workdir change. And that's going to be this. Let update needed from workdir change, which is just going to be this. Yep. And there, at least like now, this is kind of somewhat readable. And then we can say, if self index has changed, return true. And then we can say, if this is the return true. And then we can do the same thing, but for from, and then return false. Oh no, if self index has changed, this is stupid. If this is not changed, return false. There we go. If this hasn't changed, but if it has changed, then we return true if either the from or this blah, blah, blah. Okay, there we go. I think that's right. Okay, so now when we run this, wrong window, run. Hopefully, we shouldn't see spams when we're sitting on the working dir or the index dir, the index. So here we have no spam, good. No spam, great. And hopefully, if I get dad-u, this auto updates now. Sick, okay. And then here we're in this view, we say get restore staged dot, good. Get add-u, everything comes back, good. And we say get restore stage dot, everything comes back. Hell yeah, baby. Working pretty good. Yeah. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And I don't think that there's any spam happening in here, so I think we're chilling. And then we can even get crazy with it and go look at the index view and say get commit-m end of stream March 11. And now we get a little commit popping up here. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Obviously there needs to be some cleanup done here to get rid of this like spam of temp and checkpoint and stuff. But I think that's actually like a pretty good feature for now. I would like to, get to the point where we can like click on buttons in the UI to do the same thing, but not bad, not bad. Okay, so we're at an hour 40. I think that's a really, really good endpoint for the day. So thank you for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, I stream most days at around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific time for 1 or 2 hours. The theme of the stream is just whatever the fuck I feel like doing, right? So right now we're working on this Git GUI. We've been working on a terminal emulator as well. Before that we were covering, virtual file systems, AI, 3D, like operating systems, like we wrote an OS at some point. Yeah, it's like, whatever I feel like. Generally, it kind of trends towards things I don't understand in low-level stuff, because I think that's where I get most confused, right? But, so we've done a little web dev and stuff as well. There are YouTube playlists for everything that we've been working on in the linked YouTube and the Twitch description, as well as GitHub projects for the same shit. As well as, I guess my GitHub's also full of stuff that I've worked on in like the past. Don't go digging too far in the back though. I don't know. Like I think it's like goes all the way back to like my university comp sci days. So I don't really know what's what. I shouldn't be calling this out. Pretend I didn't say any of that. Don't go digging through my old GitHub, please. Or do. I don't care. It's open. Who fucking cares? If you're watching on YouTube, there's a Twitch link in the YouTube description. Swing by, say hi if you're on at a time you want to swing by and say hi. I guess I can't tell you what to do. I hate it when people fucking tell me what to do. If you want to come chat and have me talk to you in chat, you could do that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!